Now you will be running 5 God cards. Is essential so that you're drawing into a God card. You'll have the field cards to protect yourself and cards to protect and the opportunity to summon. So the main goal of the deck is to get Obelisk the Tormentor out. So for that reason, you're gonna have 3 Obelisks. Now, why Obelisk is the best out of all 3 gods? First off, when he is summoned, you can't negate the summon. That goes for all God cards. Okay? You require 3 monsters to tribute, unless specified otherwise. With Obelisk, he cannot be targeted by effects. So you can't Warning, you can't Compulse, you can't Book of Moon, you can't Mirror... well, you can Mirror Force a normal Obelisk because Mirror Force does not target. So the only way of getting a normal Obelisk is by blowing up the field. Meaning it's something that attacks the whole entire field and doesn't have a target. For you guys who are new to Yu-Gi-Oh! So the main cards that can get rid of an Obelisk the Tormentor would be Mirror Force, Torrential, Lightning Vortex, Black Rose, DD Assailant. To get over an Obelisk's 4,000 attack would be an Honest, or an Excalibur would bump heads and stuff like that. So there's just a small list of cards that would be able to get over a normal Obelisk. Okay, so now that's it for that one. Now the next 2, Slifer. Okay, reason why we're running 2 Slifers is because Slifer is for those troll decks. Okay, we're talking about Insectors, right? Geargies, Wind-Ups, Six Sams, monsters that are constantly special summoning, normal summoning. You want to throw Slifer out there, but you want to have him protected, because he can be targeted and he can be destroyed. There's cards in this deck that do protect Slifer. So before you summon a Slifer, make sure you have these cards out, just to assure that he can't be destroyed when he's summoned and stuff. Well, after his summoning, the next turn. So on top of that, the reason why these decks wouldn't go very well against Slifer is because his effect is when a monster is normal or special summoned in attack position on your opponent's side of the field, it loses 2,000 attack. Now, when it loses 2,000 attack, it's reduced to 0, and if that happens, it's destroyed. So unless they special summon like a Cyber Dragon or something like that, then Cyber Dragon would be a level 5 100, but more likely they're going to XYZ. So, but for Insectors, Wind-Ups, and you'd be able to stop those decks and then draw into enough cards to attack directly and stuff. Or, get out an Obelisk or something. With this deck, that will be possible. So, we're going to move on. Now, this is a staple for the God deck. That'll be Hardened Armed Dragon. Reason for that is because Hardened Armed Dragon's first effect: have a level 8 or higher monster in your hand, discard it to the graveyard, you can special summon this card on the field. Now, second effect: when this monster is used for a tribute summon, the monster that was summoned using him cannot be destroyed by card effects. So this is the one card you will troll with when it comes to Obelisk. Being on top of that, he cannot be targeted. This will protect him, and he's what I call Ulti Obelisk, because on top of not being targeted, he cannot be destroyed. So they'll only be able to get over his 4,000, which is awesome. A lot of people do not, have that kind of power in one card majority of the time. So just make sure if you have Obelisk in your hand and you have this guy, pitch a Slifer or pitch an extra Obelisk. It doesn't matter. Get this guy on the field. And for Slifer as well. So he's one of the main staples. Now for the main guy, Raw Disciple. Okay, this guy is new. He is the best. Awesome. I'm so glad that Konami printed this guy. Basically, if he is summoned, however he is summoned, Monster Reborn, Monster Reincarnation, special summon, normal summon, flips. However, if he is summoned, you can special 2 more of him from the deck or hand, and he can only be those Raw Disciples and him can only be tributed for a Raw, Slifer, and Obelisk. and nothing else. You cannot overlay with these guys. So far, that's what the ruling is, due to their effect. I do not know yet if the next turn, if he can be overlaid with. That's something that I'll have to wait for when I go to regionals next weekend. So I'll find out more from there. So okay, so these are your main lower level monsters. I'm going to run Nova Summoner and Shining Angel. Once I get more Nova Summoners, I'll replace the Shining Angel. I'm going to run 3 Novas. Reason being is because Shining Angel brings out a fairy monster, or a light monster for that matter. But it brings out an attack mode. You don't want that when Raw Disciple comes out. Because if you're going to defend, you don't want that to happen with the Raw Disciples. So Nova Summoner, it doesn't matter. You just special summon it. And that way you can special summon all 3 Raw Disciples in defense mode. So this will be the main card you're going to run. Now for the last 3 monsters of the deck. Malefic Cyber and Dragon, Red Eyes Darkness Metal, and Exodius. For right now, I'm only running Red Eyes because of Hardened Arm. If I have 2 in my hand, I'll pitch 1, remove it. Then I could special Harden, and then if anything, I cyber in when I have a field card out, or if there's a field card, then normal for Obelisk. So it's a quick way to normal summon a lot there. I'm going to be running 2 Exodius when I get another one. Reason for Exodius, replenishes your Raw Disciples when you use it for an Obelisk, and let's say they get over it or find a way to get over your Slifer or your Obelisk. You can return your monsters back to your graveyard, and he's a level 10, so if anything, you can overlay for Malefic and Exodius, or you can overlay with Obelisk or Slifer. So that's one of the main reasons. There is a field card, and it is perfect for Malefics. So I'm thinking about running 2 Malefic ends, and then this will probably be taken out later on until I get those other cards. Now, moving on to the spell cards. Thank you, Konami. Mound of the Bound Creator. Okay. This card is awesome for any level 10 or higher monsters. Basically, its first effect, if you have a level 10 or higher monster, it cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effect. Second effect is, if a level 10 or higher monster attacks a monster, the controller of the destroyed monster loses 1,000 damage. Now, the third effect is why we run this. If it's destroyed by a card effect, you search for a Divine Beast in your deck. So it's kind of like a Gold Sark. So if you have nothing, just set it out there. I mean, put it out there, because more than likely you're going to draw into it. Or you're going to, if they pop it, then you get a Divine Beast and you had Raw Disciple in your hand. Special him out, and boom, you have an Obelisk or Slifer, whichever one you go for. My recommendations, the main card to go for is Obelisk. Slifer will be your second card to go for. So this is a major card, go get it. This is a staple. This is part of the main deck. I'm running 1 Soul Charge, just because, again, if I summon a Raw Disciple and they pop it like Fiendish Chain or something and then throw it into the graveyard, 1,000, bring him back, or all 3 and then pay 3,000. Normal, an Obelisk. If Hardened Arm Dragon's in there, you can bring out another God card. So Soul Charge is great. The only downfall is you can't conduct your battle phase that turn. But it doesn't matter when you get a God card. That's the most important. Okay. Draw power. 2 Magical Mallets and a Guard Treasurer. You can side in a Magical Mallet. I like Guard Treasurer because it doesn't matter what you're putting into the graveyard, as long as it's not spell cards. Because we have Exodius, and if we're running 2 Exodius, I'm not too concerned about running Guard Treasurer. That's just my opinion on it. Leave comments below if you think otherwise. Next, staples. Spell card staples. You want to run double summon for sure. this is the card that you definitely need to have for this deck. I mean, I cannot tell you how handy that card has came in. So definitely double summon. It lets you summon again a normal summon one more time that turn. Now we're gonna go into the stall. 3 swords. Everybody knows what Swords of Revealing Light is. Opponent can't attack you for 3 turns. Now, this is the baby, this one. Soul Exchange, guys, okay? Gotta have Soul Exchange, alright? You draw 3 and you have a God card. You Soul Exchange your opponent's monster, tribute it, and there you go. That's one less monster you have to tribute for. So it helps when you only have 2 monsters out, or if you have a scapegoat, something like that. And then that goes into, I apologize, not scapegoat, stray lambs. So now you have stray lambs. That gives you 2 tokens. And you can set a monster, stall for swords, next turn, God card. Alright? Pretty plain and simple. Summon 2 tokens. You cannot normal summon, but you can still set a monster, so you can put it face down. So don't let anyone argue with you about that. You can still set a monster even though you summoned 2 tokens. Next, last spell card, March of the Monarchs. I only run 1 because we do have an extra deck, and this kind of hurts. Unless you have a God card out, I wouldn't play this. It's only good for the God cards. Unless you tribute summon Red Eyes, if you tribute summon Red Eyes, then yes, this would work for him. What March of the Monarch says is, tribute summon monsters cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, but you cannot special summon from your extra deck. Onto the trap cards. A major staple. The first Monarch. Okay, guys? Major staple in this deck. Okay? What this is it's a trap card that special summons itself as a monster. It's a level 6, 24 defense, 18. I apologize, 1,000 attack. What you do is you discard a card from your hand, call an attribute. You can call Divine Beast. Now when you do this, this monster becomes a Divine Beast. And then when it does, it can only be tributed for a Divine Beast. So if, let's say you have 2 of them, or 1, they can't Lava Golem it. That's the best part. Now here's the trick or treat. This card can be treated as 2 tributes towards the attribute that you called. So there you go. That's 1 monster, a stray lambs, and then this guy you can normal summon for an obelisk with 1 token. So that's it. That's it for that trap card. And then the last trap card, double Passe. Basically, it's better than Magic Cylinder in my opinion. What double Passe is, if your opponent's monster declares an attack on an attack position monster you control, your opponent's monster attacks you directly, but instead your opponent takes the damage. It's inflicted damage. You inflict the difference to your opponent, and then on your next turn, the monster that you activated this on, that was going to be attacked, can attack directly. So if they get over your obelisk, activate this. They take the damage, and the next turn for game, because obelisk is 4,000, he gets to attack directly. Okay, so we're running 3 rail cannons here. This is the extra deck for it. Basically, you know, let's say they play a limit area or a gate, you know, something that stops your God cards from attacking, just overlay. Inflict 2,000 attack. Inflict 2,000, that's game. That is game. If you've had your God card out for a while, it's awesome. And then with Exodius you can special, with Malefic you can special. So this really helps. It's the ultimate cowboy for this deck. And then we go into Utopia, Constellar Purpose, Sentry, Heartland Draco, Cowboy, Omega, of course the 2 Cyberian Dragons. You're going to run 3 instead, and then the Polynomial. So guys, that's the deck. Leave comments below, tell me what you think, and share this video with everybody, and build it. It's a cheap deck to build. It's not hard to play. It's pretty awesome.